Do you have an overabundance of fruit at your farm? Or maybe you visited a local orchard or strawberry farm that's in season in your area? Well, we're going to show you what to do with an overabundance of strawberries by making some strawberry jam today. Here are the strawberries that we purchased from the strawberry farm. We purchased seconds, so there are some spots that we will cut off after we wash all of these strawberries. So we're going to wash the strawberries. We're going to put them in a bowl full of water to get all of the dirt off. And after we clean them, when we're ready to start processing, then we will cut the stems off. I'm going to lay all these strawberries on these wire racks from the baking sheet so that they can drip dry, and cover them while they dry so that the flies won't attack. And then we're going to start cutting away all of the stems and the black spots so that we can start preparing our strawberry jam together. So if you've been canning for a little bit, or somebody was gracious enough to give you a bunch of these old jars, because they're not cheap, you can actually reuse these over and over and over again. You just need to make sure you sterilize them and clean them before each use. And you can use these year after year until they break. The same goes for the band, but don't use a rusty band. They'll eventually rust and you'll want to buy new ones. The lids have to be replaced every single year because they seal like any jar that you would buy at the grocery store, like jars of pickles, they're sealed. So once that seal is broken, then it can't be resealed. So these, and you can actually, you don't have to buy a box of lids and bands. At some stores, you can actually just find lids, so you're not replacing everything and stuff going to waste. Another thing you will want is something for your water bath. So you can buy something specific for canning, like they're huge pots and they have a rack in the bottom. What I use is just a large pot like this, because I already have a large pot and I can use it for other things besides canning. And then it has the strainer in it. So what I do is I leave the strainer in it, boil my water, and then my jars for the water bath will sit on the strainer, not on the bottom of the pan that's directly on the heat. So you can be creative about ways you can save costs for canning, because I use this pot often, but just not for canning. So it's a dual purpose. So think about those things. You'll also need a couple of other larger pots that you're going to cook. You can see behind me like some stock pots, some that you need to cook your strawberry jam or tomato sauce or whatever it is you're canning. And then you're going to need another pot of boiling water to sterilize these lids and bands. They're going to stay in that pot of hot water until you take one out and you seal it up. So before you get started, you need to gather up all your materials. One thing for strawberry jam here is that you're going to use in this recipe, you're going to use an ingredient called pectin, and it's specifically for homemade jams and jellies. You can find it on Amazon, you can find it at Walmart, you can find it pretty much anywhere, even farm supply store. So that's what this is the pectin. So our strawberry jam recipe really is only a few ingredients: strawberries, sugar, pectin, and then a little bit of lemon juice. And I will write in the description below, if you check the description below, the recipe will be in there and the steps on what you need to do to get started. So I'm about to fill this pot up right here with water. This is where we're going to do our water bath. This is the pot that I'm going to use to cook down my jam. And then this pot of boiling water back here is what I'm going to use to keep my lids and bands in. So we have one more jar in there that I'm going to take out. I've already taken all of these jars out. They've been sterilized. So you're just going to take your tongs. Grab the top of the jar, pour the water out. And then set them down. And they're going to be ready to put the jam in after we're done cooking. All right, so this is what our jam's going to look like. And then we're going to carefully spoon it into our jars right down here. So you're going to put your jar funnel, and we're going to fill it up using a ladle. And I already skimmed the foam off the top. You could hold it up, but the jar is already hot, and then this jam is already hot. So you're just going to gently ladle it in. And just be careful, whatever you, like this rag, whatever you use, it might stain because of the strawberries, but this is already a dish towel that's been stained, so I'm not worried about it. And we're going to fill this up. And just a little bit more. And we're supposed to leave 1/4 of an inch of head space. It's probably good. And you probably won't be able to see it till it cools. But what we're going to do is we're not going to fill it to the top. We're going to leave a little bit of space. We will wipe this down, and then we'll put the lids on it. So let's fill all of these jars up. So here are the jars of the strawberry jam, and they've set up for 24 hours. And what you're going to need to do is check to make sure that they sealed. An easy way to do that is to touch to see if they were sealed. You can also take the bands off and make sure. So I'm going to show you here just a second. You can touch the tops and you can feel that they're sealed. And that one did not seal. So since I've already checked all these and we only have one that didn't seal, we're just going to put this one straight into the fridge, and we'll use this jar first. Another thing you want to make sure to do is to either write on top of the lids what it is and the date you made it, or there are a lot of labels that you can buy to put on the side, and that's what we'll do. I have some labels that easily wash off when you're ready to wash the jar when it's complete. So now you saw the entire process of making strawberry jam from start to finish. Here are a couple tips I want to remind you of. First, when you want to make strawberry jam, please give yourself plenty of time. We used 15 pounds of strawberries, and it took all day to process these from start to finish. Another tip is to go to your local strawberry farm and buy seconds. When I mean seconds, I mean those strawberries that they may throw away or don't look perfect enough for you to slice up and eat, maybe on a strawberry shortcake or on top of ice cream. But since you're going to process these to make jam, you can easily buy seconds. And you can tear away the bad pieces and take away the stems and feed them for your chickens or compost pile. But just make sure if you're going to buy seconds that you're ready to process that day or the next day. Hey, thanks for watching this video on how to make strawberry jam. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. Maybe you need to share it to someone that wants to make strawberry jam with you. As always, we'll see you next time.